in my swish in, my bitch out the prescription. My eyes closed, cause I'm drifting. I'm so high, I might go missing. Girl, I know you smoke that fire, but this right here, that diesel. And I know you think you faded, but bitch, I don't believe.
Get this bad boy. I should do a video on these fuckers. What's going on today, guys? It is Dylan from REVCulture podcast, and we are here on a solo pod today. Basically, today we are going to have a giant topic on tires. Being the fact that the winter is coming, New York winters can be unforgivable. So we thought we would enlighten the world on tire tread and why it is important. For a starter, I have actually a product right here. It's going to go on the 6.0. These are mud terrains, 37 by 12.5 by 17s. And to say the least, guys, we're going to be describing the differences in the tires, what the reason for your tread being important on the road, and different kinds of terms on the tires. So to start that off, we're actually going to start off with some of the general tire knowledge. Tires are made by ply. Ply is the amount of times that the rubber has been layered inside of the tire, or to say the least, these grooves that are, you would call them grooves, but they're part of your tread. This tire in particular is a 8-ply tire, meaning that it was applied to the actual tread was applied to the tire 8 times right here on this seal that's on the side of the tire. I don't know if you guys can see that. I might zoom up for you, but this right here is your tire ply tread. Everything else from the inside out to the belts, to the rubber, to the tread was applied on that seal 8 times. Now you can buy obviously a 10-ply tire, which is the exact same thing, except it was applied 10 times instead of 8. 6-ply, 4-ply, etc., like toilet paper. Other basic tire knowledge for everybody that might be new to everything on the tires, we have our sizes. Sizes can be found out on the side of the tire. It's going to usually have 3 numbers. So you have, in this instance, we have a 37 12.5 by 17. Now, when you're in the imperial form, that means the tire is 37 inches tall. So from the floor to the top up here is 37 inches. 12.5 is the next number. 12.5 is how wide the tire is. So this tire is 12.5 inches wide. Yes, we are running a foot of tire on the truck. I would like to go more, but I might need a different set of rims for that because I'm pushing my rims almost to the top. And then we have 17, which on the tire is your rim size, which would be this part of the tire here. That's 17 inches. Now, if you have a metric tire, which a lot of tires nowadays are sold in that, they would be 225, 235, 245, all the way up to 355, 400. That is the width of the tire. So on the metric system, the first number on the tire is the width. So a 225 would mean that the tire is 225 millimeters? Well, in the metric system here in America, we use imperial, but for your metric guys, I believe it is 225 millimeters wide. That would be the width of the tire. Your second number, which would be like, I don't know, a common 225 tires, a 45 or a 35. That is your sidewall. So the sidewall of the tire is 35 meters wide, 35 millimeters wide. And to say the least, the last number, like every other tire, is the size of the rim. Now, with the metric system and with the imperial system, they are both in the inch form. So 17 is a 17, as it also is on a metric tire. Going with that, that obviously depends on what tire you're buying. If you're buying a all-season, usually they're sold in metric size, or a normal car tire, they're all sold in metrics. Now, when you hear guys with the trucks, like me, you get 37, 40, 44, 35, 33. That is the inch high of the tire. So I run 37s on the 6.0. I know guys that run 40s on the truck and it holds them beautifully. So maybe the next set I'll get are 40s. Who knows? But that is the difference between the sizes versus imperial and metric. Now going on to your tread. Now for instance, in this application, this is a mud terrain. Mud terrains have these big grooves in them. And what happens is all the mud that you're crawling through goes into these grooves and gets pushed by the tire, which would help you propel forward in the mud. Now, another tire that is just like this is called an extreme terrain. An extreme terrain is for, you know, your normal application of going through the woods, going through the, you know, river crossings. I guess if everybody knows spin tires, we all know you're crawling through some mud, through some water, and sometimes it can get a little sloppy. The extreme terrains are no different really than the mud terrains, except your knobs, which are these guys here, are actually taller on the extreme terrains than they are on your mud terrains. And genuinely, that is really the only difference between an extreme terrain and a mud terrain, except for the fact that possibly some applications of extreme terrains have bigger channels, obviously for more traction. Going on, we have our normal tire, the all season. All seasons are, as they say, for all seasons, mostly on passenger car, van, you know, normal compact car size tire. Anybody that goes and buys normal tires and they don't really care what's on the car, they just want new tires, you'll probably be buying all seasons. Not only did you know that you're buying the worst type of tire for your car, unless, like we all know, everybody that lives down south, it is either raining or it is sunlight, and they also have beautiful weather all year round. No snow, no mud, no none of that. Now, for your application of all season, if you are driving your normal compact, minivan, sedan, coupe, whatever you drive, all seasons will work perfect for you. You drive down the pavement, you don't go off-road, you got a paved driveway, all seasons are beautiful for you. If you get into an application with either mud, snow, clay, water, all seasons might show their colors on why I personally hate all seasons. The tread is not aggressive on an all season. It is more for comfort going down the road. As the name states, all season, it's for when the roads are plowed in the winter and salted. In the summertime, they're nice and dry. They've also got the nice channels on an all season just for your rain. So like I said, for your normal passenger car, minivan, they're beautiful for what you do on the pavement, but I recommend not going off-road. To the next set of tires, we have all-terrains. Now, all-terrains are kind of like your mud terrain here. The only difference is like I have on my 6.0 now, I have a pair of Hancooks, Dynapros. Those are ATs, all-terrains. All-terrain tires have a smoother tread on them, so they're more applicable for the road. You will notice a huge difference between a mud terrain and a all-terrain down the road on sound, vibration, feeling, smoothness. You'll notice it completely all through the box. All-terrains are great for your mid pickups, your heavy pickups, your light pickups, SUVs, Jeeps. They're a great tire for that because you can get your nice comfortability going down the highway. It's smooth, it's quiet. And then, you know, if you really wanted to go down the power lines on the side of the highway, you got your all-terrains to get you down there, and they will grip, I promise you. A good set of all-terrains will get you out of any kind of mud situation regardless of how you do it, if you got four-wheel drive and you got enough to do it. But for your mostly off-road type tires, we have really hit every point. And going back to our, like I said, our compact, minivan, car, sedan, coupe tires, you know, you got your pair of all seasons. Then you also have your performance tires. Now, performance tires are obviously, as the name states, for performance. Usually in applications of people that want to rip around on their car and have good traction. Sports cars, for instance, are a really good example of a performance tire. Guys that race on the track will actually run either a performance tire in a form of a slick, semi-slick, or rain tire. Now we'll get into those a little bit here as we keep going on the performance section. But with that being said, if you do not have your performance car or something you take to the track, a performance tire is probably not the application you want to use. For instance, there is multiple kinds of performance tires. We have slicks. Slicks are usually, or as the guys in the old days call them, tubbies. Tubby tires are really fat slicks on the back of a dragster, muscle car, gasser, whatever you want to call it. Those are made for getting grip in a straight line going down the track, usually on a prepped track. Those tires, for instance, will get you your straight line speed. They will get you out of the hole quick, which in other terms for everybody is the start of going. They will grip really hard getting you going, so that way you can get through your revs and obviously change to your next gear and beat your opponent next to you. But slicks are usually on the application of dry weather only. You do not want to use your slicks in rain. You will turn into an ice rink, promise you. Another thing with slick tires is like I said, forms of racing, like NASCAR, Indy, Le Mans, GT3, GT4, GT5. I mean, the list goes on for the classifications of race cars, but they all run slicks in the nice hot weather because they want to get that maximum grip efficiency around the track and make sure that the car is going to grip and rip, as I like to say. And then for your next application of car tires, we have the semi-slicks. Now your semi-slicks will obviously be a slick tire. It'll look like a slick, but it's got channels all through it. Usually a lot of street cars use semi-slicks because unless you've got like a Demon 170 or a Hellcat or a Mustang, a Bullet, GT500, GT350, Camaro, ZL1, etc. Those guys usually run semi-slicks on their cars. And with that being stated, semi-slicks, like I said, are normal slick-like tires. They have a very smooth tread on them. And the only tread that they have is the channels. So the water underneath gets out of the tire so you can make good contact with the ground. Semi-slicks are also a good application for basically, if you want to go fast on the street, semi-slicks are where you want to go. And then we got performance rain tires. Now, performance rain tires sounds pretty funny, doesn't it? Because a lot of people would say, oh, well, let me just use my semi-slicks on the rain or my all seasons. They'll do fine. They will. I'm not saying they won't. But rain tires are specifically made, usually in a race car application, to disperse the water out of the tire so the tire makes good contact with the pavement. A big application of rain tire is actually, believe it or not, Indy. If you watch Formula One, anything like that, you will see that when it starts raining out, these guys will not stop racing, right? And of course, they will come into the pits and they'll do a change of tires. They're changing those tires to rain tires, so that way they can get back out on the track, have good application to the road, and the tire grips and goes. And as you will see in a lot of the blooper videos where guys in the Indy cars will, I call it skating, but they basically will try and run an extra 1 or 2 laps out of the car because it ain't too bad yet, but once that water starts holding up, those slicks are gonna become ice rinks and they'll start skating. And that's when you see them lose control in the corners, spin out, all the other stuff when the rain happens. 9 times out of 10, that guy didn't switch to rain tires. So basically for your performance tires, to give a quick run up of what we got, you have your slick tires, which are for your race applications, super hard, aggressive contact with the pavement, very aggressive handling, and usually used on a lot of race car applications or dragster applications. Semi-slicks are more of your street race tire. It allows the rain to disperse out from under the tire, still gives it that super contact to the ground, and still allows the car to perform even in the rain on the weather. And with the rain and snow wouldn't even be something you could use with these tires. And then we have our rain tires, which are specifically made for the rain and usually are only sold on racing applications like Formula. We got our next section of tires, which is actually a really fun one to talk about, run flats. Now, a lot of people, they don't understand the point of getting a run flat tire. Well, as the name literally states, they are run flats, which means that when the tire goes flat, you can still drive it as if the tire is not flat. It is a dangerous thing to have because, one, if your tire goes flat, you don't know about it. You could be driving on a flat tire and never know it. Two, run flats are also one of the hardest tires to get on and off of your rim because of that super thick sidewall that supports the weight of the car. Usually a lot of tire shops will actually decline you to run flats because of the pain it is to get them on and off your tire, off your rim. But on that application, as I stated, run flats, as they say, are actually super nice tires for a specific reason. Now, if you have a sports car like the RS, for instance, I don't have run flats on that car. But if I was to run flat tires, if the car hit a nail and I'm going down the road, my car gets a flat tire, I can drive that car to the shop instead of having to pull over because now my rim is on the pavement. And then you risk scoring your rim and doing everything under the sun to basically have to repair that, including rim repair if it's either gashed or it's just curb rashed a little bit. They can save it. If it's gashed, then you're going to need a whole new rim. And nobody wants to pay an extra $400 or $500 for their rim, which everybody understands. Being stated with that, if your car doesn't have a spare in it, like my RS and like a lot of the Challengers, you guys, I would personally recommend you to run flats. Because then, like I said, your tire will not go totally flat. You can still drive it to the mechanic shop and you won't score your rim all in the same process. So really, if you just spend a little more money, as I like to say, buy once, cry once. And you'll be all right, you'll get taken care of, your car is in good care, and on top of that, if you're on a road trip and you get a flat tire, you can still drive it to the mechanic shop. You ain't stranded, which everybody loves. The last type of tire, I'd like to call it, and we did the air quotations here, they're called mat tracks. Now, a lot of guys with mat tracks, a lot of these guys that obviously buy mat tracks are for your off-road application. For anybody that's wondering if a mat track is worth your vehicle, one, if you got the piggy bank to spend on your mat tracks, by all means, go after it. I think it's worth it. But if you're only using it for the specific application of a mat tracks are made to disperse weight over the buoyancy of the vehicle so that it floats. Now, on mud applications, you can actually get bogged down by mat tracks because of the fact that there is nothing there to push the mud out. It'll just seep into the mat track. You will also be ruining your cogs, which are the little wheels that spin in there to help the mat track flow freely. And plus, you might have a problem with a little bit of slippage because once those mat tracks get wet on the inside, if your rim doesn't have any teeth to grab them, it could possibly become an issue trying to get anywhere because you can't even spin the mat track. For sand, snow, mud, some mud applications, depending on how soupy it is, as we like to call it up here, mostly for sand and snow, mat tracks are a beautiful thing. It disperses that weight over the ground of the vehicle. It allows it to float, and you won't see like the guys down in Myrtle Beach and everything that are getting buried to the axles in sand because they're spinning the tires. Mat tracks will carry you over that sand and allow your vehicle to stay floating. A lot of off-road applications use mat tracks as well. I mean, we have tractors, we have four-wheelers, we have, I mean, you know, they have snow kits for dirt bikes. That's essentially a mat track. And snowmobiles even have basically mat tracks. They have a track on the back. But if you apply that to a normal mat track style, it is basically a giant mat track. And as everybody knows, snowmobiles coast on top of the snow, and it allows them to get through the tough terrain that they're made to go through. But if you are just driving your car down the road, for God's sake, don't buy mat tracks. There's no reason for you to have mat tracks on your car going 55 down the highway. They're not made for that kind of application. I mean, basically, guys, to run down all types of tires we have, like I said, we have our all seasons, which are good for every season out there, mostly for your dry application, going down the road, staying on the pavement, you'll be all right. All terrains, you got your more aggressive tread on them, but you do get that really smooth ride down the road, and you also get that nice aggressive off-road grab so the car ain't gonna get stuck. Mud terrains, like these guys, are made for the mud, as they say in the name, with these channels that take the mud and grip it and throw it behind you so you can keep rolling through the mud. Extreme terrains, little thicker channels, they're a little wider, and your knobs are gonna be a bit taller. And that's for same kind of application, but obviously for extreme terrain that it literally states in it. For like, I guess somewhere you would take a mud terrain and have fun, extreme terrains would go in there and it'd be a cakewalk. Going down to the other ones, we have performance tires, which is your slick, semi-slick, and rain tires. We described that with the formula cars running slicks, and then when it starts raining out, they come in for a pit stop and they throw their rain tires on, which gets them the grip on the pavement so they can still make their lap times, and they're not losing traction going around corners and sliding into the wall. Skating. We also have our run flats, which I stated earlier is your tire that when it goes flat, you can still drive it on the sidewall and it'll get you to the mechanic shop so you can repair the tire. And on top of that, it'll save your rim and you don't have to buy a tow bill. Just an all-around good thing right there. Mat tracks, like I stated, guys, mat tracks, they're basically for your application of snow and sand. If you want to float on top of that stuff, put some mat tracks on your vehicle. You will go somewhere, not down, but somewhere. And then I guess for our last tire application for today, we have snow tires, which is coming up here. Like I said, New York is getting colder. It's a little middle of October. And we have the classic New York Buffalo snow coming. Snow tires are kind of like your mud terrain, extreme terrain, but they have more of an all-terrain style to them. They do have knobs on the outside to help push the snow when you're in deeper stuff. Your middle of your tire is the same stuff. It'll all be knobs going across the whole tire. It'll help it grip through the snow. But the fun fact about snow tires is actually these knobs is not what grips the snow. On snow tires, it's those tiny slits on the top of the knobs. That's what grips the snow. When you put the snow down to the ground under 3,000 pounds of pressure, it's bound to pack down onto the pavement and create a buffer between your tire and the pavement, causing it to slip. Those little slits, what they do is they allow you to get that grip through the snow so you can keep propelling your car forward. A lot of good applications that I could even add in myself is front wheel drive cars. Now, if you're not a big winter driver, it's probably because you've got a shitty pair of tires on your car and you didn't care. But if you found yourself in this video, you now have been informed. If you take your front wheel drive and you put snow tires on it, you will feel unstoppable. Believe it or not. You will be able to grip, you will be able to get where you're going, no slip, you won't get stuck, and you'll be able to go through some deep stuff and not get bogged down, which is a fantastic thing for a lot of people, especially the common consumer who's trying to go to work in the middle of a snowstorm. With that being stated, guys, I mean, we have also, like we went over, we have our plies, which is 8 ply, 10 ply, 6 ply, 12 ply, et cetera, et cetera. And then you have your tire size, which the imperial system is your tire height, your tire width, and your rim size. Then your metrics, which is tire width, sidewall height, which is from top of rim to top of tire, and then your rim size. And we also covered our different types of tires. Our all seasons, our all terrains, mud terrains, extreme terrains, snow tires, performance tires, slick, semi-slick, and rain tires, run flats, and we'll even call them, I don't even want to call them tires, mat tracks. This is definitely a short pod, guys. It wasn't made to be a long one, but with, like I said, with New York winters coming up, I figured it would be a really good thing to inform the people on tire tread, why it is important, the different type of tire treads, the ply and what it means, and your tire size and what it means. So that way you aren't going to the mechanic and asking him what tires should I run, etc., etc. You can run your vehicle the way you want to. With that being stated, guys, this is really the end of the mini pod. I just wanted to make sure everybody got out there, got the information about tires and why they're important and everything like that. So as I like to say, don't cheap out on your tires. Don't buy that Stanley Cup. Oh man. Well, guys, this is Dylan at REVCulture signing out. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe down below. Let me know if this video was helpful. If it wasn't helpful, we can definitely take some criticism and get better from it. On top of that, we always appreciate the support of you guys. Like I said before in the previous video, you guys are genuinely our driving force. You are the reason why we have the ambition to come out here and keep doing the things we do for cars, to inform the public, to get the interviews of everybody that's out there that wants to talk up on their car, and they share their stories and their experiences in life, and that's what we're here to do. But as always, guys, no matter if it's a single cylinder to 16 cylinders, gotta give it some revs. And just remember, guys, it's not our hobby, it's our culture. This is REVCulture, Dylan signing out. Have a good night, guys.